Hi friends, Ms. Freibuckle here. Today you will need a pencil and a notebook or a piece of paper. We're going to be talking about punctuation in a friendly letter today and also how to write a friendly letter. Before we start, let's look at the punctuation that's involved with a friendly letter. Our greeting and our closing of a friendly letter each begin with a capital letter. So if we're writing a letter to Mr. Patterson, we would capitalize the D in dear for Dear Mr. Patterson. And when we close or sign off on our letter, we would capitalize that. So in this case, we're saying sincerely, Miss Freibuckle. So you could say thank you or enjoy your weekend, but that needs to just be capitalized. Similarly, we use commas after our greetings and closings. So after we say, Dear Mr. Patterson, or Hi Mom, or Dear Grandma, we always use a comma after that. And again, when we close our letter, we say sincerely, we add a comma at the end, or you could say love or thank you, but you always need to make sure you have that comma at the end. Let's dive a little bit more into friendly letters. Writing a letter can be fun. It's exciting to open the mailbox and see a letter waiting. Writing letters can also be a very good way to keep in touch with people who live far away. So maybe you have friends or cousins or grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles who live maybe in a different state. It could be a really good idea to write them a letter to see how they're doing. So here are some things to keep in mind when you write a letter. Write the date in the top right corner. Remember to start the name of the month with a capital letter. Use a comma between the day and the year. Begin your letter with a greeting. Follow it with the person's name and a comma. Most letters begin with the word dear. So in our example, we said, Dear Mr. Patterson. Make sure that D is capitalized and make sure there's a comma after the person's name. Next, we would share some news in our letter. What is new in your life? Have you done anything fun? Have you been someplace exciting? Ask questions. It is polite to ask how others are doing. End your letter with a closing. Some popular closings are sincerely, yours truly, love, and your friend. Again, make sure that is capital letter for your closing and you have a comma after it. So when we signed off on our example, I said sincerely with a capital S, a comma after the word, Miss Freibuckle. At the very end, you are going to sign your name. So let's read an example of a friendly letter. Dear Grandma, how are you doing? I am doing fine. Last week, I wrote a report about the Eiffel Tower. Mom helped me do some research on the internet. I learned many interesting facts. For example, did you know that the Eiffel Tower has 1,665 steps? Mr. Strasser said my report was excellent. I told him that I plan to see the Eiffel Tower in person someday. Please write back to me and tell me what's new in Park City. I miss you a lot and hope you can visit soon. Love, Tucker. Let's go through our friendly letter and identify what we learned needs to be in one. So we know the first thing is that we need to write the date in the top right corner, starting with the name of the month, which is May, always making sure that month is capitalized and using a comma between the day and the year. So we have May 20th, comma, 2014. Next, we want to begin our letter with a greeting. Remember, our greeting should be capitalized and there should be a comma at the end. So here we have Dear Grandma. The D for dear is capitalized and there's a comma after Grandma. Then we should share some news in our letter. So right here, Tucker says, last week I wrote a report about the Eiffel Tower, right? He's sharing something that is new or something that he's doing. He also asks a question. He says, for example, did you know the Eiffel Tower has 1,665 steps? And he asks his grandma to tell him what's new in Park City. So it's always nice to ask how other people were doing, and it's always nice to ask them questions so that they can answer. Next, it says, end your letter with a closing. So he says love, making sure that L is capitalized and there's a comma after it. And at the very end, he signed his name. So because he's writing to his grandma, he only needs to write his first name because she probably knows who Tucker is. But if he was writing to maybe a teacher or somebody else, he might want to put his last name there. And now that you know how to write a friendly letter, go ahead and write one to a friend or a family member. When you're writing your letter, make sure to use capital letters in the greeting and the closing, and commas after your greeting and after your closing before you sign your name. Have fun, and I will see you soon.